So welcome back, guys. A couple of videos ago we took down a pretty nice sized red oak tree and we put it on the mill and we got some quarter sawn lumber out of it. Now I had a few comments that essentially said that the method that I used to do that was a plain sawn method that happened to yield some quarter sawn lumber, and while it worked pretty well, there's probably a more efficient way to do it. And I also had some comments that said that the best way to get some quarter sawn lumber was to get those cants up on edge at a 45-degree angle so that you can essentially chase that grain around and make sure that grain is perfectly vertical or 80 to 90 degrees with the surface of the board on every cut. And the best way to do that is to build some kind of a jig for the mill. So today that's what we're going to do. We're going to get some metal and we're going to get the welder out and we're going to see if we can build a jig for the mill. So let's put this out on paper to give you all a better idea of kind of what I'm doing here. So the mill, of course, as we know, has got those square holes that those rails go down into. So what we need is a couple of pieces. They're going to go down into those to hold those jigs steady. So that piece is going to be about 5 inches long, and then we're going to come off of the top of that with a piece of flat stock that's going to be about 10 inches long. After that, we're going to take this piece, or we're going to take another piece rather, and bring it up here at a 45-degree angle to hold those cants just right. And then we're going to come right here with another piece of flat stock. We're going to drill a hole right here, and that is going to have a pretty nice sized lag bolt into it with a nut welded right there so that it can be threaded in. And there's going to be a lag bolt right there. And that lag bolt is going to serve to adjust. Let me see if I can draw this. I may not be able to. I'm not much of an artist. There we go. There's your cant. Does that look like a cant? That's close enough. Anyway, so that lag bolt is going to adjust that cant back and forth whichever way that we need it to be so that we can chase that grain around and get perfect quarter sawn lumber every time. So I actually went ahead and made one of these yesterday so that I wouldn't be stumbling around on camera, because I'm not much of a fabricator. I don't do it very often, and my welding skills are I weld out of necessity, so I figured I needed some practice. I don't do it every day. So I've already made one of these and did some kind of light testing on it, but we really need two to test it properly. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go ahead and build this second one and put it on the mill with the first one and see what we can do. So I want to give credit where it's due. I did use another gentleman's video to kind of refine my own ideas, Mr. Josaljo Won. He has an LT10 and he's a pretty skilled fabricator. So when you get a chance, I'll put a link in the description of this video and a card at the end somewhere, and y'all can check out his content as well. So these are the materials that we're working with. This is nothing fancy. I just kind of went to Lowe's and picked out what I thought I need. This is some flat stock that's 1 1/4 inches wide, and I believe it's about 3/16 of an inch thick. This is some square stock that I really wanted the solid stuff, but they didn't have the correct size in the solid stuff. So I got this. It seems to be strong enough. This is 1 1/4 inch tubing. It's close to the same size of the original stops on the mill, side bodies on the mill, and it seems to work pretty good. On the jig that I built yesterday, it seems to be sufficient. So let's go ahead and get started. So that's pretty much it. I am going to put a handle on the back of this lag bolt so that it'll be a whole lot easier to spin this bolt by hand when I've got it on the mill. But I'd also like to sharpen the end of this, or the front of this, yeah, there we go, front of this bolt, so it'll actually dig into the log instead of just kind of glancing off of it. Well guys, here it is. That is what we came up with. That's both of them right there. There's really nothing else to do now but to go test them.